Welcome back. I'm Rhys Gregory, and today you join me for an absolutely epic first drive video. And I've come dressed for the occasion. Before we jump in, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, Fleet EV. They make getting into an electric vehicle very easy through salary sacrifice to creative leasing solutions for businesses and employees. If you want to find out more, visit fleetev.com. Now back to the video. So this, of course, is the brand new Renault 5 for 2025. Now, the first thing that's obviously going to hit you is the looks of this thing. It is absolutely beautiful. Of course, there is a few nods here and there to the original Renault 5 of the 1970s with its boxy lines and squared off headlights. But it has been brought bang up to date with lots of modern tech inside and under the hood. Now, of course, the Renault 5 is a compact hatchback EV, and it is made for city streets like the ones I'm on today. But the usability of this thing, with up to 250 miles of range, means you can get an awful lot out of this. So if you do want to go a little bit further, then you can. But whilst driving around these streets here in Cardiff, got me thinking, yes, it's got 250 miles of range, and you can go a bit further if you want to. But when you look around here, there are no driveways whatsoever. So if you do have an EV, as lots of people I'm sure do, it makes charging that extra little bit difficult. You see things online, don't you, about people having to trail cables across pavements and all that sort of thing. But if you've got an EV like this one with the range that it has, then perhaps it does make things a little bit more practical if you live and you have a house without a driveway. Just think you could charge up less often and still have a compact hatch and not be worried too much about the range. And I know there are some streets around the bit of Cardiff that I'm in now that actually has on-street chargers. The other thing to note about what this car looks like is that despite it being a compact, it's actually a 5-door hatchback. The clever designers at Renault have been able to very carefully and put in these sleek door handles into the rear pillars, so you can't actually see them. It makes it look like a 3-door, which I think is really cool. Also to note on its usability, this particular model equipped with quick charge, so no long waiting times to charge this thing up. And the great thing about this being a compact, it makes it really, really easy to park and get into in tight spaces. So now is probably a good time to talk about the technology in this car. It is jam-packed with goodies. So this particular model is the iconic 5, which is one of the kind of top tier packs that you can get. Now, from looking at the spec sheets, if I were to buy or lease one of these things, then I would personally probably be looking at the tech pack and above, so it gets you a fair bit more. So this one being more of the, so is one above the tech pack. Again, it has absolutely everything that you can imagine. So this has front and rear sensors and side sensors, as well as a reverse camera and a few other things as well. Whereas the tech pack will just get you the reverse sensors and the rear camera. And if you do go for the Techno one and above, then you get this thing right here. You get Google Maps built into the car, and it is really, really good. I mean, you're probably familiar with Google Maps, and it's just so simple to use. And this particular model, again, has a slightly larger screen too, and it's all touchscreen. The other technology built into this thing is incredible. I'm not going to be able to list off absolutely everything here today in a first drive, but it's got its own built-in AI assistant that runs off of a form of ChatGPT, which I've not had a full chance to use yet, but I imagine it would be very useful. It's also got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. The other thing to note as well is that this car is brimming with personality. So we've talked about what it looks like on the outside, but you should see what this thing looks like on the inside as well. So all of the seats and material you see here is made from recycled bottles. How cool is that? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure this particular color isn't to everybody's cup of tea. So this car color is pop yellow, and it really does pop. And you've got 4 other color choices, so 5 color choices for the Renault 5 in total. Now, when I first started driving this car and I saw the color of the car, I wasn't quite sure on it, but it's really starting to grow on me. It's a really, really nice yellow, and it does, and in fairness, it does pop. I think in terms of design and style, probably not seen a revival like this one since BMW brought out its version of the Mini. And the way the thing charges as well isn't just, you just plug it in and charge. Of course, when you've got a car that looks this good, it's not going to be as simple as that, is it? Well, it is as simple as that, but it's got the charge port has got its own design stamp as well. So in this particular model, when it comes to charging up the car, an illuminated 5 on the bonnet. Now, yes, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong, I've not seen anything like that on any other car, but it's a little bit practical as well. So it'll actually illuminate, and it will show you, and it'll light up a certain number of bars, and it'll give you an idea of how much charge you've got left. So I've not got too long with this car, so a few kind of first impressions. I've mentioned about its looks already, but it does really look, it really looks the part with this kind of retro vibe, modern twist that it's got going on. Now, when I first got in this car, I have to admit, I was a little bit daunted by this array of displays and devices. However, after a few minutes in the car, you can pretty much work your way around it pretty easily. So I guess one of my kind of top points about this car is that it's got a mixture of things. So you've still got some of the buttons, so you can press some buttons down here, and there are a few more buttons over here, but you've obviously got this touchscreen display too. Now, for those of you looking for drive, it's actually this stalk up here. And I know a few people have kind of cited this already, but it doesn't kind of have park and a separate handbrake in the same way as lots of other cars. It's kind of one of the same. So you can actually switch it on for it to kind of auto hold, put it in kind of park and brake. Or you can manually pull up the switch down here too, which is what I do in a lot of my other vehicles. So that's what I found that I do in this one. Now, the handling on this car has really surprised me. So it's obviously an EV. It's a compact, but the steering is just really, really sharp, which is obviously great around town and parking, like I've mentioned already. But it has a lightness about it too. So when you do come up to national speed limit like this one, you can put your foot down and it handles the bends, the corners reasonably well. Now, don't get me wrong, this is no hot hatch by any means. And you can get the car in two different models. So the 0 to 60 in these varies depending obviously on which model you go for, but between 7.9 seconds and I think it's just under 10. However, what I have found is, with it being an electric vehicle, if you pop this into sport mode like I'm doing now, it feels really good. Surprisingly good. Takes the corners no problem, and you can get up to speed quite quickly. It feels a bit quicker than a 7.9 second. It is actually fun to drive a compact EV. Who knew? In fact, I'm going to go back the same way as I've just came now through these lanes in St. Fagans, so I can do it all over again. See that zigzag sign? No problem. Now, one of the things you might be wondering is about actually how much size, kind of what sort of boot size and storage space is this thing got. Now, being a compact hatchback, you're always going to be limited. So if you are looking for more space, lots more space, then obviously this isn't going to be for you. But if you are in the market for a compact, then it's comparable in terms of rear kind of space and litres in the boot to other compact hatchbacks of its size. So I don't think you're going to be disappointed The only thing this one doesn't have, of course, is a frunk. But the boot is more than adequate. Inside though, there is storage space. There's a glove box. There's this armrest thing here in the middle that has lots of space in. But the one thing that I feel like it is missing is maybe cup holders. So this thing is great for around town, school runs, weekend coffee runs. I guess you just need to find somewhere suitable to put your coffee. But other than that, this is a great car. So if I were to summarize my 5 favorite things about the Renault 5 for 5, then it would be this. It's a retro-inspired modern design, top of the list. There's absolutely no way you can deny that. The handling, as I've already said, is actually surprising in a really good way. The other one, of course, is that real-world usability. 250 miles of range in something like this is, I think it's pretty much unheard of. But I guess maybe that's technology for you as well, in terms of these things are always going to improve. Number 4, the technology. This particular version, as I've said already, is jam-packed with absolutely everything you can need. Whether you're an Android user, Apple user, just want to connect via Bluetooth for audio, it's got it all. It's got it all in that sense. And then finally, it has to be the price. So I've not mentioned this yet already, but this thing, by modern EV standards, is fairly cheap. So prices start from £22,995. The next model up from the base model, so that was the one that I said I'd probably go for if it was me buying the car, would be my minimum. So that's the Techno pack, and that's £2,000 more. So that will take you just under £25,000. I'd say that is kind of the sweet spot. Now, if you want a few things, and again, I've not got the car long enough to detail absolutely everything, but if you want the heated steering wheel, heated seats up front, you want the front sensors as well as the back sensors and the side sensors, so you got it kind of all, then that's going to cost you a few £1,000s more again. Now, obviously, I'm fully aware that sort of money isn't cheap, but from a leasing point of view, and the numbers are only just starting to come out, so I can't quote anything in this video, but you know, they're not bad. They're not bad to get you into a car like this with all the things that it has. You know, if you are in the market for a hatchback or compact hatchback, then I'd seriously go out and book in a test drive and go check this out. So this is my first drive video and first look at the all-new Renault 5 for 2025. If you want to read more about the car, its spec, and what else it can do, go and visit cornered.co.uk for more car reviews, more car culture, and more commentary.